Buried under the pre-Super Bowl avalanche of NFL news was the court filing, which again proved that the sordid Baylor football scandal has not reached bottom yet, and it's morphed into a commercial for the NCAA death penalty. After the recent filing of a suit alleging 52 sexual assaults by no fewer than 31 Baylor football players over 3 years, 3 Baylor regents in an unrelated suit cite specific text messages in portraying what the regents call a disciplinary black hole under Art Briles, where football coaches actively intervened in player discipline. Briles himself, confronted with an allegation that a player brandished a gun at a woman, says to the woman in a text, "What a fool, she reporting to authorities." As to the alleged gang rape of a Baylor student by 5 of his players, Briles is said to have texted, "These are bad dudes. Why was she around these guys?" And as for one player caught selling drugs, the head coach texting allegedly, "I'm hoping it will take care of itself." And there are plenty more. Adding to the surreality of these texts and the picture they paint is the fact Baylor suppressed all of this information after it was gathered by the law firm Pepper Hamilton, the firm only issuing a summary report. But now the gloves are off. Roy S. Johnson, welcome to him. He is a columnist and executive with Alabama Media Group, and he writes today, quote, "Baylor has to go away, disappear, poof." And that is Roy's lead. Okay, why?
Well, Bob, the more you peel back the layers of this onion, just the worse it smells. I mean, clearly there has to be some due process here, but just based on what we know now, it is very clear that there's been an institutional abuse of the trust that parents give to institutions when they send their sons and daughters to colleges around the country. It was abuse of players who were allowed to run wild if these allegations are found to be true, and even worse, suppressed by coaches and administrators hell-bent on just letting them play. And then the abuse of females, if you believe some of the allegations in this latest lawsuit. I have a daughter in college. Many of your viewers do. Anyone, especially in this day and age, has to say enough is enough. And this institution has to pay a significant price for the lack of discipline and just ignoring due process and the disciplinary process that is supposed to set up to protect both the athletes and the students.
Now, you go back 15 years, remember the Dave Bliss basketball scandal, where one player at Baylor murdered another. The head coach, Bliss, told his players to lie to NCAA and university investigators, tried to pin a drug conspiracy on the deceased player. That was, at the time, even before Penn State adjudged to be just about the worst ever. 15 years later, at the same school, another sordid scandal. And this is a faith-based institution, so what's the message here? Is there one?
Well, you know, the message is that clearly some of the people who were in high places at this university did not abide by the principles upon which the university is based. And on the NCAA side, they clearly have been reluctant to use this death penalty. As you know, it was 13 years or 30 years ago this year that they did it to SMU's football program, and that program still has not recovered. The penalties levied against Penn State for the egregious things that happened there, some said were even worse than the death penalty. But clearly, it took a few years, but Penn State has recovered. I think there's no question that based on what we know now, that Baylor deserves to have that death penalty, and the NCAA should have to bring it back and utilize it.
Do you think they will?
It's a good question, Bob. You never know what goes on with the infractions committee and as it winds its way up the institutional ladder at the NCAA. So I hesitate to speak for them. But again, I think they really have no choice to send a message in this day and age when there are so many people talking about treatment of women. We have marches around the country. Some of the things that are alleged to have gone on there clearly can't be excused. We've had talk about sexual abuse of women on college campuses around the country. This is a national topic. So it's up to the NCAA, at least in this case, I think to send a very clear message that abuse will not be tolerated, nor will institutional cover-ups be tolerated, and that Baylor's going to have to pay a price for that.
To quote my good friend Andrew Brandt, there will be lawyers, and there certainly will be. Those are the billable hours that'll determine it all. Roy S. Johnson, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next, the conflict between